Just want to say thank you to everybody for coming and attending this conference. It's lovely for us to be chosen as one of the schools to showcase what we're doing and what difference OPAL has made to Audley Primary School. So just as Kath said, we started this journey way back in November 2020. Can we move on to the next slide, please, if that's okay? So what I've done is, instead of going through different pictures, I've given you a selection of playing outdoors. And I guess with the previous presentations, the theme of mud, getting dirty and wetness is very much paramount. So if you're one of those head teachers who are starting this journey, what I'm going to try and go through with you and share with you is what it's like to be a head teacher and to actually start this whole school approach, and maybe be able to help you to understand some of the challenges that we faced and how you could possibly use them in your OPAL journey too. So as you can see in front of you, we've spoken about loose part. You know, you don't need a lot of money to do OPAL. It is a journey which is actually about sustainability, recycling. It's about the children. And just like any school at the time of the pandemic in November 2020, when it hit in March, we had children who were coming back to school during school reduced school provision, who were lacking kind of resilience, who were, you know, the pandemic was having a huge impact on their mental well-being. And we were looking for an approach which actually not only helped the children to develop their self-esteem, their independent learning styles, but also an opportunity to really for the children to have fun. Because as you know, when they were at home, children are from different backgrounds and they come with different experiences, and not every child had an opportunity to go and play out in their back garden, etc., especially if they stayed in flats, etc., and so on. So we decided to basically start this journey in November 2020, and we are a one-form entry school based in Caterham in Surrey, and we border to Croydon. We do have, you know, we're not in a school that's got high deprivation, but we do have 15% which are, you know, from PPG group. However, we do have quite affluent families and some middle class families, and also those who are from working family backgrounds. But I guess what other previous presentation people have already said, you know, it's about making a cultural change in your school. And Michael started that at the beginning. And it's about a whole school approach. And you are going to face challenges on the way, but it's about being brave. So in front of you, you can see various clips of the children. You know, they're such an important part of this whole OPAL approach, and their voice is so important, and they need to feel as if they're making that difference. And yes, certainly those smiles, that playing in the mud, and you know, it's not, you know, children come to school to learn, and they are learning through play. It's one of those fundamental things that you learn in reception. And unfortunately, as they go through the key stages in primary into key stage 2, we tend to forget about how play is such an explorative way to develop resilience and get children to excel in their learning. So moving on to the next slide, what I'm going to share with you is just a little bit of what it involves. So in the background of this picture, you can see basically our sound station, and we have, as you can see, we've used loose parts, recyclable materials. You know, our staff have bought into this, and if you move on to the first section, if that's okay. This whole approach is so important, and it's a whole school approach that requires commitment at all levels from all parts of leadership. So the very first inset day that we had with Kath, you know, it was all about having SLT being a part of it, having a governor there, having entire play leaders and your midday supervisors there, parents, we had parent representatives, we had our premises managers, teachers, teaching assistant, the whole lot. So if you want to really embed and implement this, you've got to do it right from the very, very outset. And obviously, being a head teacher of a school, you have got to believe in what you're doing in order for others to believe in that with you, with that vision. Have a clear vision of what you wanted and what you want. And actually, you know, like any head teacher out there, it's all about children having fun, building resilience, and taking those controlled risks. As a part of OPAL, you'll find as you start this journey, a lot of the onus is on the children making those risk assessment judgments, and you as adults being out there. And I've been out there playing with the children, as well as my midday supervisors. We've had parents out there playing with the children as well. It's about making, you know, facilitating that, because children know how to play. They know, they're born with it. That's how we learn. And unfortunately, sometimes in school establishments, we tend to kind of lose that kind of enthusiasm. So it is a huge fundamental mindset change, and it requires bravery and courage at all levels. And I'm going to talk a little bit later on about, you know, when you're faced with a challenge as a leader in a school, not just by the parents, but also by other members of staff, it's important that you stand, you know, firm and believe that actually you're doing the right thing. And maybe some of those who have already undertaken this will probably resonate that with you as well. It's continual risk benefit assessments. And as you start the journey, it's all about, you know, you looking and getting the children and modeling how is the best way to undertake play. And it's not about saying no to any kind of play. It's about being open to it and asking and guiding the children, is that the right thing to do? Do you think we can maybe try it this way? So we do really celebrate OPAL in our school by the pupils through what we call weekly OPAL assemblies. So my deputy head teacher, who's the OPAL coordinator at school, she on a Thursday actually creates a video. The children create a video, so when they go outside to play, they take an iPad with them and they record each other playing. And what they do is on the Thursday, all those clips are put together and then they're shared on Google Classroom, and everybody watches everyone playing, talking through their play. And as you will go through the journey, there's different play schemes, play different kind of play maps, etc. So you can certainly see where they're using that kind of innovative learning, that experimental play, that imagination, and so on. So I would say, you know, it's all about doing all those things collectively. Moving on to the next slide. So I'm sure I've used the word rain gate, and I'm laughing because, like I said to you, you are going to be faced with a challenge. And as you know, our good old British weather, you're not going to have sunshine all the time. And there is going to be a time when you're going to have rain, wind and snow. And I guess we started our journey, you know, in November, and within the first week of December, we had rain gate in our school. And what happened was basically our parents were of the mindset that actually, you know, the children shouldn't be going out to play. I'm sure lots of people would resonate with that. Whereas we had started a journey, and we all already had representatives from the parent side, and we'd allow the children to go and play in wet weather. And that first time we did that, and it wasn't torrential rain, it was just rain that was heavy for a little while. And obviously the kids had amazing fun, as you can see the pictures in front of you, you know, with their wellies on, with their raincoats and so on, and the smiles on their faces said everything really. But we did have a lot of complaints from our parents, you know, wanting reassurance, and they were basically saying, you know, why did you let them out? Why, you know, whereas when the children went home, they were actually saying, we had so much fun today. I had so much fun playing in the puddles, etc. So I would say to you, you know, it's about that word about communication is so important. I need to bring your parents along with you in this journey so that they understand that you are doing this for their children. And slowly but surely, as I've written down there, you know, having that open communication is so important. And then we started, I thought the best way to do this is actually spin this on its head and actually highlight to our parents how much fun they had that day, and look at your children, look at what they're saying. So it's about marketing OPAL as such an important thing to help with their child's mental well-being. And we just reminded our children and our parents about bringing in spare clothes, bringing wellies. We asked for like a wellie donation, and other previous presenters have said you don't need a lot of money. You can go and get grants, etc., in order to make it the best that you possibly can, and affordable, and also inclusive. So moving on to the next slide. So the way we market OPAL, it's through all levels. We do it through our school website. We've got videos on there. We've got a whole page dedicated to OPAL, and every so often I have like OPAL as a main feature within the newsletter, and we're using our remote learning platform, Google Classroom. We do that as well, so that actually parents can actually look at some of the play assemblies. And quite recently the parents have actually looked at them and made comments about, wow, isn't it lovely how much fun the children are having. So even though at times you will feel as if the whole world's against you, you need to stand firm, I would say, as leaders, and know that it is making a difference. And you will know when you have those OPAL play assemblies, the children are they're so much smiling, they're doing so many different things, and they're really building upon their resilience. And I would say to you, we've had such a marked improvement in terms of behavior incidences that we used to sometimes have at lunch times. So it is having the right impact for the children as well. So believe in yourself and know that it will make a difference. Obviously we have a Twitter feed, just like many schools. So we every so often put up lots of pictures of the children within Twitter. We've had lots of parents when they've come on school visits to see whether this is a school that they want to be a part of. They can see, and they see that actually outside the children are using the grounds fully. I was just talking to Kath recently, talking about the challenges with the grounds and the muddiness and the high usage areas. Those are challenges that you're going to come across, but they're well worth it, and there is always a solution. It doesn't always have to be a solution which involves money. You can think about things more out of the box, really. So we've had an amazing time at Audley, and we're waiting for our assessment, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And all I can say to you is be brave, be courageous, take that leap of faith and just run with it, really. And if you're anywhere near our school, you're more than welcome to come and visit us. That's something we would be happy to do.